Day 5 here from Tampa, a hot one. Hot one.
Very.
Logan Robinson from BucsGameday. I'm here with JC Allen, our on-site reporter and writer, and our lead editor, River Wells.
I got a haircut.
He did get a haircut. Looks a little bit different. You got a bucket hat on. JC, River, it was hot, but the pads were on for the first time in training camp. Just overall first thoughts on that, how the guys look and everything. We saw Tristan Wirfs. He was out here. He was pads on, participating in some just solo dolo kind of stuff, just doing some technique work, but wasn't in there with the pads on and contact fully on 11-on-11s and team. But he was out here.
Right, yeah. I think a little bit slower than what we've seen, obviously, with the pads down, the heat. By far the hottest day we've had since we've been out here.
Not great. Yeah.
But I think the pads kind of slowed things down a little bit, gave the offense that advantage back, especially along the offensive line to kind of stifle some of the pass rush moves that we've been seeing. But still a very good day from the pass rush as well.
It was. They still got pressure even with pads.
Right, yeah. You saw Joe Tryon-Shrinka, who's on his redemption tour, his revenge tour, after not getting his fifth-year option picked up. You saw Yaya Diaby back there. A couple of the guys getting some good pressures too. So all in all, it was a good day of competition. We saw some really good work in the red zone areas and the hurry-up drills and stuff like that. So
Jalen McMillan continues to do well in there.
Jalen McMillan continues to shine. He's really coming on as, I don't want to say the leader for that number 3 spot, because again, as we talked about it, there's going to be a lot of rotation there. But I mean, he just continues when his number's called. He's making plays. Had another touchdown today and a few other good catches. So, yeah, I thought all in all, good day, first day of padded practice. River, what were your initial thoughts, kind of, especially in the secondary? We saw some plays being made there too.
Definitely. I think a lot of what you said is how it went down. We did have referees here today. Some penalties were getting thrown. Talked to Todd Bowles about that, so he's got to look back at it, obviously. But discipline's a big, part of that whole thing. Also,
the referees too.
Yes, the fans booed the referees, so football is back. If you were wondering, training camp. We just spoke to Tristan Wirfs actually after practice. He mentioned that they are actually getting some good progress done on his deal. Said it's all about the little stuff going forward. So also mentioned that the recent extensions to guys like Penei Sewell and Christian Darrisaw have been expediting this process a little bit. So not sure exactly when that's going to go down, but it certainly sounds like it's coming maybe sooner than later. So something to look forward to if you're a Bucs fan as well. Definitely liked a lot of what I saw today. Baker Mayfield threw some dimes today, had some drops from receivers, but really tight windows and tight coverage, like you mentioned from the CVs. But Baker looked really, really good. Threw some good deep balls, put some balls right where they had to be.
One to work on, develop, and get better at.
Absolutely.
That's such a big threat for this offense when you have Mike Evans there and you've got some speedsters like what you saw last year with Trey Palmer. You want to connect in those deep balls, and so training camp is perfect time with that. Now with the pads on, you got to execute. You got to be able to get better on that offensively in this offense.
His ball placement, too, has been really exceptionally well. There was a play where it looked like the play was over. It was over here in red zone work behind me where he dropped back. Chris Braswell came through the line, gave him some pressure. Baker scrambled out to his right, and it looked like right as Braswell was going to get him, he delivered a ball to the only spot that Godwin could possibly make. He made a diving, sliding, contorted body catch.
Very good play.
And for the touchdown. So you're seeing incredible ball placement, I think, from Baker Mayfield, which if he continues, and of course now pads are on. We've seen it throughout camp, no pads, but for it to continue with pads on it, it's really important too. And I think just going back to McMillan too, one thing that I really wanted to see when pads came on was how he fights through contact. And so far I've been impressed because when you looked at something that he had struggled with in college, that was one of those things. So, I'm really impressed by this entire team. I think, they have good solid depth everywhere you look. So obviously, there's going to be some downfalls and some things that don't go their way. But so far, I don't think I have many areas of concern besides depth-wise in certain places for this team. I think if they keep clicking, and we'll see that soon against Cincinnati and then against Jacksonville. But so far, expectations are high in the building with the guys. They're high, I think, with us here too, from what we've seen on the first couple of days.
Absolutely. I want to talk to you about that, JC, actually, real quick. That Braswell play. I was thinking, from my point of view, if this was real time, he probably would have gotten there. Do you think Baker Mayfield probably in a live game would have been able to escape the pocket there? Because Braswell's coming on really strong.
It's one of those things where it's tough to be sure. He was really close.
He was.
So I mean, did he pull back? Would he have dove? Did he kind of ease off the gas there a little bit? Because last thing you want to do as a rookie is decimate Baker Mayfield quarterback. So it's one of those things where a lot of these times these sacks and when the ball gets off are kind of are close. So for now I'll let the play stand.
So, and not to take anything away from Baker Mayfield there, because it was a very good catch and throw. Chris Godwin getting in some good work so far this whole training camp. Todd Bowles has emphasized they want to see him in the end zone again, and it looks like the way that Liam Cohen is using him out there, we could be seeing something like that going forward. So it's exciting.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns 2 days ago. And they're back out here, so he's getting a lot of red zone work, a lot of red zone opportunities. Another guy who got some red zone work today, Devin Culp. He
did.
His speed is full on display. When he gets a free release, it's like somebody messed up because he was just running by himself all down the seam. Got an easy touchdown. Ryan Miller got a lot of work with the ones today too.
He did.
Thought he was impressive as well. So good stuff. Good stuff to keep building upon for this Bucs team as they head into another padded practice tomorrow. This time indoors at night. Yes. Yeah. So we'll get a reprieve from the heat. Then they're off Wednesday, and I think Wednesday is probably when we hear something about Wirfs.
Yeah.
I imagine they'll want to get that done before they get back to practice on Thursday. Tomorrow is notoriously the night practice is notoriously a little bit more laid back, unless it was last year where Rachaad White almost got into a fight.
That's right. We could see some scrimmage work in there. We could see some game sims in there.
Right.
Todd Bowles did mention he didn't commit either way. He said we'll see how the practice goes.
But it is usually a little bit lighter as far as that goes. So it'll be interesting to see what they do tomorrow.
Yeah, and for Tristan Wirfs too, we were talking to him and said it's not in his DNA to not be out here, and he said it was really rough for him to be in the weight room during OTAs and look out and see the guys practicing. It's just, and you could tell, he said Baker's had his back, Mike Evans has his back. It's not, there's no bad blood. That's literally what I said. There's no bad blood here with the organization. It's just they got to figure out a number, and that's just is what it is, and it's going to be a big number. Yeah, it's going to be a big number. I just got to figure out which big number that is going to be. But Tristan Wirfs is a really good team player. The team loves him. The organization loves him.
He's probably the best player on the team.
So. Yeah. So
you're looking at him or Antoine Winfield right now.
Absolutely.
I think the number to look at is 29, 30 million. I think that's a number per year we're looking at.
Video just cut off. It's very hot out here, River. It is what it is.
That's how hot it is. If you want a good metric for it.
They cut off JC though, so it wasn't one of us. So it was JC. Yeah. But JC giving some numbers there on Tristan Wirfs. But I was just going to end off the show and just talk about KJ Britt putting a pop on Rachaad White.
Absolutely.
Supposedly Rachaad White doesn't want us to talk about that, but there was a pop. It was a pop. But you don't want to hurt the RB1. Rachaad White having a good start to camp anyway, so as Britt. But as always, you can listen to this on our YouTube. We're going to do an instant reaction like this, hopefully continuously throughout camp if we can find some shade for the phone so it doesn't overheat. But really fun day. I just love the pads being on. We'll actually be in the IPF tomorrow night.
Yep.
Probably a little bit more of a relaxed practice, you think, from Bowles, potentially?
Yeah, and sometimes they do game sims. Sometimes they do scrimmages. We talked to Todd Bowles today. He said we'll see which one it ends up being. So look forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're everywhere. Make sure you're at BucsGameday.com. River and the rest of the team are doing a fantastic job starting off this camp for you guys with tons of content.
Shucks.
Key takeaways on a daily basis practically here from camp and along with our rest of our team. We'll have some updates here on Tristan Wirfs too, but also we'll be live Wednesday with Cody Malk.
That Cody. Yes.
That Cody.
You heard it here first.
On Wednesday at 8 p.m., I should say. But if you like these videos, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're following us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, everywhere. We'll see you for episode 3 of our Instant Reaction. Peace.
Absolutely.